Hello,
Hey,
Ebony. How are you?
good. How are you?
I am amazing. I was just thanking everyone who was tuning in before you joined and saying thank you because it's just been an amazing month. That God has blessed me with some amazing conversations and yet another one tonight with you. So uh,
Yay!
I'm so very excited. So
Yes, me too.
I want to just get started. Are you ready?
Okay, yes, let's get
All
started.
right, so let me do you justice and introduce you.
Okay.
Ebony Lacey is a self-love activist, behavioral health specialist, and the owner of the popular clothing brand, The Identity of She. Ebony first started her career back in college when she majored in journalism and graphic design. After college, she started The Identity of She as a blog geared towards women in 2015. Year by year, the brand grew slowly, and now the internationally recognized brand, which has been featured on BuzzFeed, Lifetime, A&E networks, as well as in the Los Angeles Times. Ebony's ultimate goal is to continue to empower women through her brand, activism, and through peer support. I'm quoting Ebony when I say this. Whenever I pass, I don't want to be remembered for who I am. I want to be remembered for how many people I've helped and how I've made people feel. Convos with Kaz community, please throw your hands in the air, your hearts, your whatever it is, your pink and green hearts, or whatever hearts you got today, and welcome Ebony Lacey, creator of The Identity of She.
Thank you so much. I really
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much
What
for
is intro?
being. You are well deserving of the intro that I gave you, and it's actually one of the things I truly enjoy when I have conversations is reading everyone's bio, and you know that because I was like, did you send me your bio? I got to check. I want to make sure I have it. Because it really lets people hear how excited I am and how thankful I am to have my guests here with me today, or whatever day, but for you, it's today. So again, welcome and thank you so much for being here. Let's jump right in.
Okay.
So tell me, Ebony, how amazing did you feel and how much more radiant did you shine when you saw Snoop dancing next to the curvaceous women at the Super Bowl?
I felt amazing. I felt so inspired. Just seeing plus size women being able to just kind of take the world by storm, influence so many different industries, finally get the shine that we've been desiring for so long, especially plus size Black women, because it's a lot harder for Black women in general, especially plus size Black women, like just being frank. So being able to see, you know, 3 women that look like me with their performing with Snoop was just incredible. So that's exactly how I felt. Inspired.
I was like,
just amazing.
I actually had to take a double take because I was like, is that Snoop dancing with these beautiful curvy Black women?
Yes.
And they were loving it. I think he was loving it just as much.
I absolutely
so it was just
yes.
It was a historic moment
such a
for the
good
Super
feeling.
Bowl. It was.
Sorry. I was like,
no worries.
what happened?
Technology, right? We hate it, but we rely on it so much. No worries. But where I left off was I was saying that you're getting major props, right? I think it's Amanda LeCount who was killing them in your thick AF shirt. Like, come on. And that's like the second or third time she's worn it.
Yeah. I had a partnership with Amanda. I met her at a dance party that I threw in LA, like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And so, now she's gotten a lot more famous. Like she wasn't half as famous as she is now, but like now, she's on Euphoria and she's like all over TV. She's danced for so many celebrities like Meghan Trainor. So Amanda's killing it. Yeah.
She is killing, and when she had your shirt on, I was like, get it. For those of you that don't know who we're talking about, and I just found Amanda doing a little bit of research. Amanda LeCount is a curvilicious woman who is killing it in the dance scene, and she's danced for a lot of well-known people who you probably listen to in the car on the way home today. So go ahead and check her out. And she was wearing one of Ebony's thick AF shirts, which is major props. So I just wanted to say that to you. So here's the next question I have for you, Ebony. When did you realize that you had to fill a void, right? Stand in the gap and encourage women to love their body shapes?
Okay, so I started the Identity as She in 2015, and at the time, I wasn't focused on like body positivity. I was most so focused on just the compass of identity in general, just how we express ourselves in terms of like our sexual identity, our physical identity, those type of things. It wasn't until about 2018 when I started a campaign called Body Love, where I just wanted every woman who would be open to it to pledge to love their bodies no matter what. And so I came up with Body Love, and from there things kind of like took off. So I started realizing that once I came up with Body Love, that it really is a big thing to be able to love yourself unapologetically and present yourself in a way that is authentic and genuine. And I realized I was feeling a void when I started doing more and more t-shirt designs for larger sizes. So originally when I first launched, I had did up to size 3XL. And then when I was able to, because I started noticing that size 4XL and 5XL were continuing to contact me. And I was like, okay, well, let me see if I'm able to add that. So as soon as I was able to add it, I saw even more orders for size 5XL, size 4XL, especially like 4XL and 5XL crop tops.
Oh, wow.
If you Google 4XL and 5XL crop tops, you only find a handful of businesses that actually even do it. You really can't find it. So that's when I realized like, oh, wow, I'm actually really creating a void, because like all women deserve the ability, well, all humans rather deserve the ability to be able to show off their body and wear crop tops and wear things that feel make them feel sexy. And not every brand believes that. I just personally believe like
they didn't believe it, but now they see it now. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but
yeah, they definitely see it now because there's a big market for it. So absolutely, yeah.
You know what I love? I'm smiling because what I'm learning is that when you walk in your purpose, God brings people to you.
Absolutely.
And you said that, you know, when you were doing shirts and you were just doing like 1X, 2X, 3X, but then you had all of these women were like, well, can you do this? And can you do this? And you're like, I absolutely can do this for you. Thank you for honoring me with the ability to do that for you. So that is, it gives me chills, right? That you were placed there to help women, right? With this body. I'm so excited. I told you, like, Ebony and I have been going back and forth on IG, and I kept saying to her, like, I'm so excited. And I think at first she was like, okay, lady, like, easy, right? But to know me is to know that I truly like ask people that I want to connect with, I want to talk to, because I admire you. I'm humbled by the steps that you are taking in life. So I love it. I love that you were in a place, God placed you somewhere and he brought people to you. So that is utterly fantastic.
Absolutely.
How did you decide on the name, The Identity of She?
So it kind of took some time. I started a blog right out of college. At the time it was called Keep Calm and Keep Yourself. And it was around the time where like keep calm and carry on and those type of sayings were really trendy. And underneath the saying, I had the identities of yourself. It had like 4 pillars between your sexual identity, your physical identity, your body identity, and your racial identity. And so as I started thinking, I was like, the keep calm trend was kind of dying down. I needed a new name that would be a little bit more unique. And so I really focused more on identity and kind of Googled that the word identity, realized there's not a lot of brands that have that as a part of their name. And so from there, I was able to create the Identity as She. I'm just focusing on the word identity and just knowing that it really is for women. I have the identity of he too. So I do have a menswear.
I was going to ask you about that. I was going to say, so I saw identity of he. I was just like typing and I was like, wait. This is more masculine.
Yeah, I bought like I made sure to have all on, especially on Instagram. So like I have the identity of he, I have identity of she. So
say that again for the people in the back, because you already had the identity of she and you were like, wait a minute. Before somebody comes and tries to bite my brand, right?
Yeah.
You went and got the identity of he. That is so important in just being an entrepreneur, is to take a hold of your business identity, and you did that.
Thank you. Yes, I mean that's absolutely true. In terms of making sure you get a trademark, making sure that you also claim ownership. There's so many ways that you need to claim ownership outside of just a trademark. Like you need your domain name. So like I also had to buy the identityofhe.com, identityofshe.com, identityofhe.com. So like all of those things to take complete ownership, because people, the bigger you get, the more people will try to knock you off. It's just
I forgot who it was. I want to say it was like the former president that we had, but somebody bought his name, right, as a website.
Wow.
So because people are forward thinkers.
Yeah.
And it was somebody that didn't care for him that bought the name.
I see.
So you have to be mindful of that. And I think that was really important. That's why I wanted to kind of stop and emphasize that, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs that are listening that are going to watch this replay, and that is important for them. When you find something and you see that people like it and love it and they're kind of admiring it, make sure you take up the space around what you built as well to hold on to the value in that.
Yeah, absolutely. Completely agree.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about the brand a little bit more. How do you come up with the slogans for your t-shirts? Like thick AF, right? I mean, to me, that's dope. But then you have all you can eat. You have it in the crop top, and you have it in what I may or may not have as a panty.
Yes.
And then you have thick thighs and pretty eyes, and I definitely do have that crop top sweatshirt. But how do you come up? Like, are you just sitting there and you're like, oh, I got thick thighs and pretty eyes, let me go ahead and put that on a shirt? Like,
that's so funny. A lot of like planning and brainstorming goes into the shirt designs. So sometimes I'll see like a phrase that will be kind of trending on social media, and then I'll kind of sit for it, take a screenshot of it, and try to find a way to make it my own. I think that's the biggest thing in terms of having a t-shirt brand, is that it really has to be your own. That way you can claim ownership of it. So really finding those things that are trendy and positive and inspiring, because those are definitely messages that people want to wear, but making sure you add your own like appeal to it. So
again, you are speaking to entrepreneurs, and you're speaking to people that might have a brand that is not as thriving yet as they want it to be, or thinking like, oh, I didn't know I could do this, let me think about this now. And what you're saying to them is there's a lot of stuff already out there, right? Once you decide that this is what you want to do, be mindful of what people are doing, but then say, how do I make this my own? Right? Everyone is trying to always reinvent the wheel. But what you're saying is that you kept up with the trends, and then you were like, this is not me, but I can do something along the lines of making this towards my identity, right? The identity of my brand. So again, that's great. And I hope people are really taking this to heart, what you're saying, because you're dropping some jewels here, my dear.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so and also back to the shirts. There is a sale going on, I believe, right now, right? I think I saw some shirts that are $19.99 and
So I have $19 shirts. I have $20 shirts, and then I also am doing a 25% off sale plus a free gift with code VDAY. So just use code VDAY. So
awesome. You know what? We should pin that code in there so people can know, because I love her shirts. I have one of your shirts. It's called "I Am a Masterpiece."
Yeah.
And your brand spoke to me, and I'll talk about that a little bit more later. So the calendar, you have a calendar that you're still working on, I believe, right?
So I completed the calendar. Yeah. Now I'm actually doing a like special calendar for my gym. So I completed the calendar about end of January, got it off to the printers. And if I get enough interest, I can do like a second version of the calendar for this year. So it just kind of depends if I get enough interest, because it just takes a lot of time to put everything together. And I want as many people to be featured as possible. Yeah.
Well, when you say enough interest, are you saying from people that want to be featured in the catalog, or are we talking about pre-sales, which we can begin today?
So in terms of people that want to be in it. So like I have calendars right now that you can purchase, but to me, it just feels like a better experience. So I think that's the difference between like going to Google and just typing in calendar, or going on Amazon and just like getting a calendar. Like you could absolutely find great calendars online and on Amazon. But for my calendar, I wanted it to be an experience. I wanted a person to be able to pull up something where they can do like mental health and self-love activities, yet they're able to see themselves. They're able to see themselves in a modeling-esque environment, in a self-love-esque environment. So I was like, how cool would it be to like, you know, charge a little bit of money, have people submit their photos, submit what self-love means to them, put everything together in a calendar, and then just ship it off. And so I was able to do that. I even have girls in the calendar and men in the calendar that are from Canada, from Austria. So yeah, it's really cool.
Absolutely fantastic. So there's a person in here who's asking a question, and I love her because it's my mom. So it's my favorite woman in the world. But she said, a sassy, sexy, sophisticated senior ladies, could they be, I guess she's asking if they could be in the calendar. Clearly there's a
absolutely, yes, absolutely.
I love it. Okay.
I also share that one of our sorors, she messaged me because you know, I was a little nervous about how like out there all my stuff is in terms of it in the sorority, because you know some of the ladies are very conservative,
so in their St. John suits.
Yes, but yeah, she actually DM'd my mom, or messaged my mom, and was like, hey, I want Ebony's top that says, hey big girl, don't be afraid to get on top, like my boyfriend says that's the perfect shirt for me. So I was like, go ahead sis.
You know why? And I'll say this, you have tapped into a market where you are allowing women of all sizes, right? Because you have a shirt that says small boobs matter or something like that too, right?
Matter,
so you've tapped into a market of women who may have felt some type of way about their body, and didn't want to ever express that. And for everybody who has not been, again, to the Identity of She site, please go to the IG page, because I love it, right? And I see these women and I'm like, God, they're so courageous, right? To show how happy and beautiful their bodies are. And people are seeing that, and you're giving them the courage, right? You just said, you know, our people can be a little stiff. But people, even if it's behind the scenes, right? People want to feel like that behind closed doors. So you're still providing that opportunity, right? Like people don't need to know what you're wearing in your house for whoever you're wearing it for. So I love it. And again, you are tapping into people and bringing out something that they were so nervous and so worried about what other people would think, that they never did it. And you've now provided a safe space for that in your brand. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's, I want to get to all the good questions I have, but you touched on mental health, which is so very important right now, right? When we see Miss USA, how she just took her own life. We see how Regina King's son just took his life, and may they rest in eternal peace. I love that you have that component on your website, right? You have a mental health check-in quiz. So why did you feel it's so essential to put that on your website? And talk to people, like they can go to your website where they can find this mental health check-in quiz, not just buying, you know, this amazing brand, but check in with yourself. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So since 2015, I had started coming up with a lot of these phrases and sayings about like loving yourself and loving your identity. And when I first started my blog, I had a lot of people, because it was an open forum blog. So I had a lot of people that would contribute to the blog and like post their stories. And for some people, it was their like issues with their identity. It was their issues with like, so for example, I have a strong LGBT community, and some of them use the blog as their coming out story, or just kind of expressing their feelings.
Again, creating a space. You've created a space and they've come to you.
And then for some women, they were sharing their like their rape stories and sexual assault stories and everything. So it became like this very like vulnerable place. And I realized as this magnitude of people are coming and this is really vulnerable, that it would be best for me to have some sort of accolade or certification, so that I can continue working in this space and providing things outside of just fun, goofy sayings, but also to be able to provide like resources and things that can really make you feel good and really help. So the first thing I did, I started partnering with a lot of different brands, a lot of different organizations, mental health specialists. And then after that, I decided to get my peer support certification. Also, my dad runs a behavioral health facility.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So it's kind of always been in the family in terms of helping others and providing a space for others. It was originally my grandma's business. So now it's my dad's business, and eventually it'll be me and my siblings' business.
The legacy that your grandmother built for that for your family. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So I actually started, after I got my peer support certification, I started working as a counselor for my dad's business. And that's when I just continued to do more mental health related resources and things and components. So to answer the question simply, I decided to get my peer support certification so that I can just be a better and stronger resource and kind of create more things for people to better love themselves and deal with their mental health. So, yeah.
Eboni, that's amazing.
Thank you.
And again, I mean, the chills that I have just listening to a lot of what you just said, right? The fact that your grandmother started this behavioral health, and then it's now run by your dad, and your dad wants his children to take that on. If you stepped into one of those areas, or maybe your grandmother's shoes right now, and I don't know if your other siblings have done it yet, but I'm sure that they are along the way. But it reminds me of something that Bishop Jake said, I don't know if it was last week or a couple of weeks before, when he said all of us have whatever it is we're supposed to be doing as our assignment in us from when we're children. And when you said that, I was like, you're an example of that, right? Like, you never think that this is where you're going to go. And you probably didn't think about it when you started your brand either, that this is where you would really end up. And look at God, right?
Yeah.
Here you are. So it just helped put a lot of things in perspective for me personally too. That's why I'm like tingling inside, because I'm like, I hear you, God. Like, this is where we're supposed to be. So thank you for sharing that. And for everybody that is watching now live or will watch, remember what you just said, right? Eboni has created the brand identity of She to encourage women to love themselves, right? To love their bodies, to love exactly who they are. But in creating the space on her website for people to, participate in the blog, she saw a void. She saw how people were coming in humble and looking for a space to come out to talk about the abuse that they have received. And because of that, she went and got, she is on here, Eboni, went and got a certification so she can further help people, not just wear it on their chest, but heal.
Something you had mentioned like your calling and your purpose, and when I went to church, it was like 2 Sundays ago, the pastor had talked about like the fact that you may be in hiding, even because God may be preparing you to understand and observe your calling, because it can get really, really heavy when you're starting to realize like, wow, this is what I'm really supposed to be walking into. So not everybody might know your name. They might not know your purpose or who you are, or anything like that, because God is simply preserving you and preparing you to take on your calling. So when you said that, it made me think of what that pastor said. I was like,
So God is connecting us, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. I had another question, but I want to tell you something really important about myself before we go into the Kaz's rapid questions, Kaz's quickie, which is, I want to say thank you, Eboni, because growing up, I grew up in New York. I was a chunky kid, right? Cute, chunky. And I just remember like shopping, and the size that I wasn't always on the rack, right? So I made do, right? Or, my dad was into fitness and I would do things. So it worked in life. But there was one instance, as I was preparing my questions for you, that I remembered where I played soccer growing up. from like elementary school through high school. And I'll never forget, I was out playing soccer. I was wearing white, right? Because I don't know if that was away or home, whatever. But I remember this guy standing on the sidelines, and he was talking to, I don't know if it was his friend or something who we were playing against. And he was like, don't worry about her. Her thighs are thicker than your whole body. And I will never forget, and I am way past high school, but what I'm saying is that I'm thankful for you for creating a space, because young women are still experiencing jerks like that, right?
Yeah.
But you have a space, you have a clothing line, you have things that make them feel young and vibrant and empowered, and that how they look and feel, they don't have to worry about how anybody else looks or determines how they feel. So I just wanted to thank you for that, because it's not just for young girls, right? It's for women too.
Yeah.
I think I told you, I was like, I went to your site and I was like, okay, I see y'all. They were encouraging me, all of the beautiful women on your page. But what you're also doing is, when you encourage these mothers, you are encouraging them to break a cycle of self-hatred, and that now create a cycle of self-love. And I don't know if people really understand how important it is. You know, they might just say, oh, she's talking to a woman who has a great brand. No, this woman has a purpose. And I really want to thank you for that, Eboni. I wanted to tell that story because I still remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of us were bullied.
You know how important this conversation is right now?
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of us were bullied in elementary school, middle school, and high school. And, you know, especially from boys. And, you know, we were told like, oh, if they bully you, they like you. That's one thing I do not tell the kids that I counsel, because like, no, if he likes you, he'll respect you. You know, he'll know what makes you happy and what makes you sad. And if he's making you cry and making you feel horrible about your body, he doesn't like you. And you deserve so much better than that. So I don't know why that message was ever even put out there, maybe to like lessen the pain. But yeah, that was definitely something I was told. And it's like, no, these boys. It's
a terrible, and I don't even want to call it a lesson. It was a terrible reiteration of how to be negative and perpetuate hatred, right? And protecting the boy.
Yeah, exactly. Protecting the boy instead of holding him accountable to what he's saying. It's just like, oh, he probably likes you. Like, no. No.
And a lot of women that heard that, they're in situations now because they thought that that was okay.
Absolutely.
And I don't want to go too far into that, but I think that's what we're talking about here, right? Is to make sure we don't say stuff like that anymore.
Right.
Because it puts people in a place where they don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah. And even like now as an adult, just paying attention to the people around you, family, friends, significant others that make you feel negative about yourself, negative about your body. Because in terms of body love, it's more than saying like, oh, I love myself. You have to surround yourself with people that make you feel good. And if they're making you feel bad, they gotta go.
They gotta go. I don't care if you are 5, I don't care if you're 15, I don't care if you're 25 or 55. If you are surrounding yourself with people that are just negative, not even if they're just negative to you, if they're negative in general, let them go. And I have learned that recently, that I'm okay with letting people go, because it's about me at the end of the day and how I stay mentally healthy and sane.
Absolutely.
And all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so this is one of my favorite parts, which I call Kaz's Quickie. These are, I say they're rapid fire, but then I ask questions and it makes people pause. Like, I can't answer that quickly.
Okay.
But try. Let's see. Let's have a little fun. Okay, here we go. Favorite entertainer?
Issa Rae.
Who was it?
Issa Rae.
Okay. Cotton or spandex?
What? Sorry.
Cotton or spandex?
Spandex. How
many shirts have you sold to date? Estimate.
So,
hundreds, thousands, millions?
Definitely thousands.
Okay.
I will share I know my sales up to date is almost $250,000.
Good for you.
Thank you.
Everybody that's watching now, go to the website and check it out. She's having a sale. Okay, next question. What is your favorite food?
I love Chinese food.
Me too. Good Szechuan. Yum.
So good.
If you could do a collab with anyone, who would it be?
Oh, that is a really good question. There's so many people that I want to collab with, but
Go ahead, say them all.
Lizzo would make sense.
I
Like,
knew you were
would
going
be
to say that.
perfect.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. We'll take Lizzo for now. What is your least favorite thing to do?
My least favorite thing to do.
I'm stumping you.
The dishes. I hate doing the dishes.
Okay. Mine, check that box for me too. What is the identity of She's best seller?
My bestseller by far is My Weight Is None of Your Concern Unless I'm Sitting on Your Face. Like that.
One more time for the people that might want to go buy that shirt.
Oh, it's My Weight Is None of Your Concern Unless I'm Sitting on Your Face.
And there it is. It's on her website. You can go get that.
Yeah,
okay.
that shirt has made so much money. I'm like, wow, it's been great. Yeah.
I love it. What is the last song you heard?
The last song? Last song that I heard. So last song I heard that like is like on replay all the time is Hours and Hours. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Money Long. I'm with it.
Yes.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Fishnets or thigh highs?
Ooh. Fishnets.
Okay. If the identity of She was already a multi-million-dollar brand, what would you be doing?
If it was already a multi-million-dollar brand, what would I be doing? Okay, this is one of those, it's hard to answer fast, but okay. To me, what I would be creating on a massive level, both, it's coming, both online and also physically in stores, maybe pop-ups, is creating what I didn't have, and I'm sure you didn't have, and many other curvy girls didn't have, but the ability to walk into a store and see your size and find clothing that fits good, and have that experience for every human, because so many of us had to walk out of stores crying because stuff was too tight, not big enough, too short, not long enough, like all of those things. So yeah, that's where I see for myself as a multi-million-dollar brand, is being able to create those experiences for as many people as possible.
I love it, with mannequins that are different sizes too.
Yes,
right?
yes, absolutely.
Love it. Okay, beach or mountains?
Ooh, beach.
What's your dog's name?
His name is Ivory. So yeah, our names are Ebony and Ivory.
I love it. If you could close your eyes and transport yourself anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Ooh. Anywhere in the world. Oh my gosh.
I'm getting you tonight.
I would. Where would I go back? I would want to go back to the civil rights movement. Yeah, to back when like Martin Luther King was alive. Okay. Yeah, to be out there like protesting during that era.
That makes sense, right? Because you're a self-love activist. I love it. I love it. Rihanna or Beyonce?
Rihanna.
Who is your favorite model, male or female?
My favorite model is female. Oh gosh. So her name is Lyris.
Okay.
She modeled for America's Next Top Model. She was also in the Players Club. She's been modeling for years, like over 20 years. So, and she's bomb, and her body is bomb too. So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, what is your favorite TV show to binge watch?
Right now, I love Power and Ghost. Like that, those two, yeah, are my favorite shows, like by far.
Awesome. And then the last question I have, right? If today was the last day you had a voice, what would you say other than your quote to encourage people?
Hard question. Okay, what would I say? So I would say, and it's kind of what I say to my clients that I counsel, is that you have all of the answers. You feel like you don't, but you have all of the answers. And you're not getting the results you want. Pay attention to that. Or you're not getting an answer is an answer. Meaning like sometimes we feel like we have to respond right away. We have to do things right away. When really sometimes life has to come together. We know that as God really planning and orchestrating things. so that we can go through life appropriately and actively. So sometimes you just have to wait a little bit. So yeah, that would be the last thing I would say if I couldn't say anything else, is just that you have all the answers. Give yourself some credit and know that like you got it. Yeah.
I love it. I always like to ask a question that leaves people with a way to move forward. So you have all the answers, everyone.
Yes.
And I want to thank my guest, Eboni Lacey, for being so kind and joining me tonight on Convos with Kaz. I am so humbled by the conversation that we had, just to hear that the identity of She is not just a clothing brand. It is much more than that. It is a space for people to love themselves, to be open, and to identify with who they are, no matter what it is that they have been through. And as Eboni just said, to always remember that you have all of the answers within you. So
Yes.
Eboni, I thank you for the last time for joining me tonight. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
When am I getting my shirt?
Oh, your shirt. Okay, I'm sending it out this week. Like probably, if not tonight, then tomorrow. So I got you.
Awesome.
I got you.
I appreciate it. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Go follow Eboni. She's having a sale. But more than that, she's an amazing human being. So thank you all and have a great night. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.